You're eager tonight, huh?
Okey doke. I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting for January 25th and the pledge to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Kozowski?
Here.
Clark?
Here.
Absent. Height?
Here.
Lindman?
Here.
Nedrow?
Here.
Schneider?
Here.
One is absent. Weber?
Here.
So I'd like to move to excuse Brandon Thorne and Scott Fredericks. I think, let us know in advance they weren't going to be able to make it to the meeting.
Works.
Okay, motion by Lindman, support by
Snyder.
Snyder.
Weber.
Weber?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, all in favor?
It was Paul.
Was it
Okay,
Paul?
Snyder.
Somebody.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, okay. Also like to hear a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, so we've got a motion by Edwards, seconded by,
Clark. Clark.
oh,
That's me.
I'm so sorry.
It's Edwards.
Motion by Clark,
Second by Lindman.
second by Lindman, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, doke. Got it. Okay, and then also looking for a motion to approve the minutes from way back, October 26th meeting.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Okay, so that time we had a motion by Weber, seconded by Snyder. Discussion, all in favor, motion carries. Okey doke. Okay. That brings us to our public hearing, public hearing, item 6, hot tubs and spas.
I'll move we open the public hearing.
Second. Okay, motion by
Lindman.
Lindman, second by Nedrow, to open to the public. Okay,
Seeing none, I motion to close.
I'll support.
okay, motion by Nedrow, second by Linden, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing closed. That brings us to item 7, correspondence from Attorney Clint Kestro.
Just on, you're right on cue.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Up to the podium?
Up to the podium.
Well, you take a moment and consider if you need it, but if you are ready, we are ready.
Well, I think you had a nice agenda today. Thought I saw something about
Yep, we're on item 7, correspondence on 2355 South
Oh.
Commerce.
Great. I thought I saw something about bees, though. Did you guys do something about bees?
Nope.
Maybe just some case law I was reading on a different matter.
That might have been in minutes or something. Was it? I remember
Did
something.
you have one
about it, too.
the last time you guys
It was
met?
on chickens.
Chicken?
Yeah, chicken ordinance. But it was tied to
completely-
bees somewhere. I remember seeing something too. You must have had the same dream I had.
You know, completely unrelated to this, and if you have a minute, I'll indulge you with some information, but I have this matter out in Macomb County, one of the municipalities, regarding pigeons. So I've been doing this case law research on stuff, and they talk about chickens, what ordinances are allowed and not allowed, and the another one was bees. So maybe it was in my head about how you can regulate the keeping of bees, keeping of chickens, swine.
Yeah, no,
Livestock.
we had a discussion about bees.
Maybe I read it in your minutes or something, because I remember reading it somewhere, and it was just like in the last week and a half. It was like crazy.
Anyway,
Well, this is great, you're on number 7 already.
Yeah.
My wife is
We're
going to be
efficient.
very happy about that, because I get to go home earlier. But I sent a letter in, obviously, I think many, if not all of you, were here when we had done a presentation. It's probably maybe a year and a half ago or so, at the property at 2355 South Commerce. And again, Clint Kesto, I'm the attorney that represents them. And in speaking with the village manager and trying to get an understanding of what we can do on the property, it was suggested to approach you to put something on the agenda for next month as a discussion matter to see what opportunities there are for the property because of how it's zoned. And I won't get into all the details, but that, it was a request, I think, if I'm not mistaken, today is just simply requesting that opportunity. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what we're...
You're just looking for an informal discussion on...
An informal discussion without submitting an application and paying the fee and whatnot, so that we can get on the same page, at least in some sense, of what we can do with the property and some opportunities that can present themselves. It's obviously been for sale, there haven't been any bites, so we kind of want to just talk to you about what we can do or what opportunities would be available, whether it be the same or something different, and just have that discussion. And again, Mr. Chair, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what today is for. Otherwise, I would have brought my client in and
Yeah,
to do
yes.
that. But I think
Right.
today is just a request for that
Request.
informal.
To get on the agenda for next month's meeting, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're
So,
fine with that.
I'd ask that you vote in favor of putting it on the agenda, and we can have a discussion about it.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
My assumption is that your client hasn't viewed the property zoned as it is and hasn't found a satisfactory way. And this discussion would necessarily be how we are willing to offer a variance or
Either a
variance.
a variance or a rezoning.
Rezoning,
Or rezoning.
My client is in the kind of retail and gas station business.
Right.
And ultimately, we'd like to find a landing spot for that.
Yeah.
At the same time, we want to discuss if there is no opportunity to get there, what we can do. There has been one bite or inquiry, I'll use that word, into the property.
Yep.
But because of how it's zoned and their review and coming to the village to see if they can do what their intended purpose was, which was not a gas station, they discovered that they cannot because of how it's zoned. And there was never an offer or anything, it was just an inquiry. So rather than having it sit there, my client paid a substantial amount of money, but the use, there has to be, I think, in my opinion, if we could have a discussion about the use or what can happen there. Of course, my client would still like to do the proposal, and we'd love to work with how we can do that. But we need to be able to see what else is available.
Yeah, I think everybody's fine with welcoming you guys with the discussion, but all the information you need about how that property can be developed is readily available at any time. There's nothing that we can do during the discussion to bend the rules or the ordinances or anything like that. So, it's, like I said, we're happy, to talk about it, but, we're not going to be able to tell you anything that it doesn't already exist on the books right now.
For certain, but I think if there's, within your authority, there may be either an opportunity for a variance or rezoning, depending on who would be available.
We really shouldn't be talking about this because it's not really.
Right.
We shouldn't be talking too much about the content of this item because you're just asking to get on the next agenda. So, maybe I should just say that. We can certainly talk about the other options that are available in the zoning ordinance, but there's as Mr. Chair said, there's nothing they can tell you to say, yes, we would approve this rezoning if you were to do this with that property. So that's just not a conversation we can have.
Agreed, and I don't want to waste your guys' time. I don't want you to have to wait a month to have us tell you that, we can't do anything that isn't on the books. So and that's really, I'm just trying to save you guys some trouble. is all.
No, for certain, and I appreciate that.
Did we deny the previous rezoning request? So it was denied.
Yep.
Well,
Okay,
The
we
first
are
re-
going, I really do think,
Yeah.
since you're just here to say, I want to be on the agenda, so let's
Point taken, yeah.
make that decision, and then you can come back with your client. And then the other thing, Tabitha, I don't know if this gentleman would want to talk to me or have a meeting with me and the village manager or what. that might be helpful.
That'd be great.
So, okay.
I'll reach out to Mr. Gillum or to the office and set something.
So she's already coming to Monday.
Oh, that's fine. I don't know if I'll be in on Monday, depends what happens Sunday night.
Okay.
All right, so I'll move that we add to the agenda for next month a new business item for discussion on the property 2355 South Commerce.
Okay, motion by Linden,
I'll second it.
second by Nedrow. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, can I just get that date? I think I heard you say.
Sure. It's the fourth Thursday of the month,
February 22nd,
which would be, yep, February 22nd. Thank you, Brian.
7 o'clock.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Have a great night.
Go Lions.
Go Lions. Okay, so that brings us to item 8, call the public. We have no public, so I believe we can just skip right past that. Go on to item 9, new business, 2023 annual report. And I believe,
That's right here.
Yep.
yeah, got that in our packet.
And that's something
Seems like
that's
we did
required
more.
that's something required yearly for the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, so.
Right, got our multi-use approved and
Yep.
Yep. So with that,
Oh, yeah, here we go. So if everybody's had a chance to review that, and it looks good, there are no development proposals presented at this time.
right, and we had none in 2023. We did the multi-use and then we did the hot tubs and spa ordinances, and that was the main highlights of the years.
Yeah.
I think we just typically forward this to council.
Yeah.
And do we need a motion on that?
Yes.
Sure.
Please.
Okay. I would love to hear a motion to forward the 2023 annual report to council for review.
I move we submit the 2023 report to council for review.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Snyder, second by Linden. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. There's no pending business. We have old table business, hot tubs and spa ordinance amendments. And in your packet, you should have found some hard work done by our dedicated professional Sally.
Absolutely.
And if you would like to speak about this, Sally, you have the floor.
Well, do we have to untable?
Oh, I'm so
I'll move we
sorry.
untable the hot tub spa ordinance amendment.
Motion by Linden,
Second.
second by Snyder. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, hot tubs and spa ordinance amendments is officially untabled. And now, Sally, could
Okay. The only new change that was made is in blue text. And I just found it, and now I lost it.
It says page 7.
Page 7.
Page 7, okay, page 7.
Up to.
Yes. So before, the ordinance was permitting one spa, hot tub, swimming pool, or similar facility. Now, you're allowing up to one swimming pool and one spa, hot tub, or similar facility. So people can have two of these features.
Can I make one comment as I was reading through a lesson learned from the township side? So we allow tennis courts in backyards, which is fine. We don't talk about pickleball courts. So since we say tennis, that means just tennis. And the reason I bring this up is there's nationwide, there are ordinances being put in place to regulate residential and pickleball courts next to residential because of the noise. It is incredible, the amount. If you have up at Richardson Center, if you just, during the day when it's gone, you don't think about it, but it's a big issue. So I just bring that out if,
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to discern what the heck is the difference between pickleball and tennis. I mean,
It's the paddle and the ball.
the paddle
It's a
and
hard
the-
paddle with a hard ball. It makes
Okay.
a lot more
It's,
noise.
it's a loud click.
smack.
Yeah.
And when you have several going on at the same time, it's like machine gun fire. You know, when it's, because it's
Turn up the radio
it's
as you
click,
drive
click,
by.
click. It is, we've actually put some screening, and we've made sure we've done some landscaping with pine trees, because there is quite a ways away, there is a house on the west side of Richardson Center. So I just point that out to us as we go forward, of something to be,
Well, I know we,
to consider as we're thinking about residents.
and
I
it's
think
been
we're
brought up,
covered.
I guess, George, it's been brought up at council level about the tennis courts over here, that they had a pickleball league over there in the village.
Yeah.
And the people next door were complaining about
Were
the
they?
hours of operation, because people were coming in at 6 or 7 o'clock in the summer in the morning. And I didn't realize it. I mean, this is the first time I've even heard that the sound is completely different. So now that makes completely sense, to me, why those residents might have been a little bit more upset. So,
So anyway, just.
Thank you.
I just point that out as we had no idea
yeah,
at the time.
no, it's a
Well, I
good
guess
point.
if someone's proposing to put a pickleball court in the backyard here, we'll
But
see about
again,
putting an
we're
ordinance in.
covered, because it only says tennis is allowed, but if somebody wants to turn their tennis court into a pickleball court, their neighbors might have concerns. So,
Interesting. Never knew.
Okay. Okay, now go back to our hot tubs and spas ordinance. I think with the revised language, I think we're good. And are we ready to resubmit to council for review, or?
May I make a comment as well? Upon doing some review of the language as well, and this is something that may have been covered in the past, but, looking at the first, looking at section 1240.08, rules of construction, definitions, item 59, lot coverage, I guess my question is, why don't we mention above-ground swimming pools in there? It seems that it only includes in-ground swimming pools for lot coverage. That was just one thought I had regarding that. And then also within the definitions, section 1280.06, let's see. Yes, item A, definitions and purpose, and then moving down to, let's see. Yeah, well, basically, there isn't a definition for above-ground swimming pool in there. It mentions in-ground, and, it's further brought up,
so Sally, we talked about, where did we?
Above-ground
we-
swimming pools are considered temporary. It's a temporary swimming pool.
that's kind of what I gathered
Yeah.
upon, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Because it says temporary swimming pools means a swimming pool above ground, made of plastic, light metal, or other light-duty materials that are more than 3 feet in height.
Right, okay.
So, but to your point is, but you can't have an in-ground and an above-ground.
Right.
But you can have an in-ground at a spa, which is
Yes.
what we wanted.
And you can't have a permanent above-ground pool either. The one that stands up with taller sides and all that, but all that's allowed is a temporary above-ground pool.
I guess what your concept was, why is it not considered within lot coverage,
Yeah.
Right?
essentially.
Right, because it's
Right.
considered temporary, so.
whether it's temporary or not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it
So-
is, that's why, because it is
Yeah,
considered.
'cause-
So
Yeah.
any above-ground pool is considered temporary, even if it's a permanent one, right? I mean.
Well, there is permanents are not
And
allowed.
I guess that was my misunderstanding in terms of,
So you're just
If we
looking
had
for
permanent
clarification, right? But, okay, so Sally's saying since it's temporary, there's no reason to put lot coverage because it's not going to be permanently covering that amount of lot,
Okay.
if
The
that
other
makes
thing,
sense.
I think these definitions are the same in the swimming pool ordinance, so in the general code, I think this is how they define things. So I would hate to have different definitions in the two different codes.
okay.
Agreed, but good eye.
I just want to make sure, in the event we had permanent above-ground pools that had,
It was covered.
enclosed decks around them and so forth.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it does say, the percentage of the lot occupied by main buildings, accessory structures, whether incorporated into a deck, in-ground, or raised or not. So I think, it's going to probably be up to the building official. I don't really like listing everything in this definition, to be perfectly honest. I'd rather have just a general description and then have the building official make the interpretation. But because the previous language said in-ground swimming pools, I felt like we kind of had to add the spa thing since we were modifying everything.
Well, again, and what we were trying to do is, when this originally came to us, we were looking to actually allow spas and hot tubs in lakefront yards, because they weren't on the ordinance before, so that was the whole request and whole reasoning to go through all this.
That's where people want to put them.
Yeah, right, so.
To make it better,
And
yeah.
again, technically, above-ground swimming pools weren't allowed in lakefront yards.
Right.
So,
All right, but it's always good to double check, and excellent, eye there. Okey doke, so we have a motion by Lyndon.
To resubmit the updated ordinance to council?
Okay, do I have
well, I
a
guess
second?
ordinances, right? Yep, ordinances.
Yes.
Actually, it is just the zoning ordinance, because you guys did not have a public hearing on the general code.
Right, but this
So-
affects more than one zoning ordinance, right?
No, it's all, the whole thing is
Well,
a zoning
multiple
ordinance.
sections, yeah.
Yeah, but all the sections,
Yeah, right,
yes.
that's where I was going.
Okey doke, that being said, zoning only, motion by Lyndon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Snyder.
I just didn't want to step on anybody's toes. That's why.
Discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion carries. That brings us to liaison reports. Item 8, council.
Oh, boy. We had November, December, and January.
Wow. Triple whammy.
November, we reappointed a couple people to Parks and Rec, along with Ryan Martini and Jim Sparks Jr. to the Water Board. And let's see, that was pretty much it for November. December, we appointed Cody McCain to Parks and Rec. We approved the crack sealing program, which went forward. Finished up some road striping. And then we had Citizen of the Year nominations. We had second reading of short-term rental ordinance that we were working on, so we moved ahead with that. And then we introduced the, let's see, what was it? Oh, introduced an ordinance for Parks and Rec Board to move forward at 11 members instead of 9. And we had discussion regarding the chicken backyard fowl ordinance. And then in January, we had 2 service awards, Todd Smalley for 15 years, Parks and Rec, and Ryan Crowell for 5 years with PD. We were supposed to have our audit presentation, which was delayed because our auditor had issues and couldn't make it. We reprogrammed our CDBG funds from 2020 to, that we were actually, for the doors down here, we were supposed to have some backup paperwork that we could never get out of the contractor, so we had to reprogram those funds towards, I think it was the Pontiac, or the Oakland County Home.
Is it Haven?
No, we had Haven before, but it was through the Building and Rehabilitation or something department. Anyways,
Okay.
yeah. And approved the Tiki Night fireworks contract with a new company out of White Lake, and I can't remember the name of the company right off the
A
get-go.
new company going to do the,
It's full
Yep.
service, it brings their own barge.
Yes. Yep. For the same price, and it's gonna be a same type of show.
do you know their name by chance?
I can't remember it.
You're out of White Lake, though?
Yeah, yeah, and they do a lot of
Around.
fireworks in the area, so, yeah, so,
Cool.
Yeah, Lakes fireworks are their specialty, yeah.
And
Yeah.
bring their own barge.
yeah, so.
They bring their own barge.
So there will not be anything for, I mean, JR's not gonna have to go out there and have.
The barge
drag up a whole
parties
bunch of-
are kind of a rite of
We may still put the
passage.
barge together.
The barge will still go together. We'll still
Yeah,
have
but we
that.
won't have
Set
to, we
fireworks
won't have to peel the carpet off.
Peel the carpet off and put it back on, yeah. So, in any case,
Well, that's great.
we had the second reading of for the Parks and Rec Board approval. It's 9 to 11, and then we introduced the chicken ordinance. So, also, we had a discussion regarding recreational marijuana. We had a guy come in from, I think it was an attorney from Ypsilanti representing recreational marijuana growers of Michigan or whatever. But he was looking at trying to get a gut feel of how the village might feel about moving forward and opting in instead of opting out.
Also going to have a study session on that?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
And the general feeling was from council at that point that Walled Lake has substantial, ample amount of supply, and that, there's ways to.
Well, and just the safety.
So
issue. There's
you
more
might
and
see
more
it, I mean, they might
crime.
canvass around the village and try to get it put on the ballot for next year. I mean, that was one of the possibilities that was brought up.
Store in Wolverine, is that what they want to do?
They
No,
wanna put
they
a-
want,
They want a
retail.
retail
and-
establishment.
Yeah, there's,
Put it on the
they've,
corner of Decker and,
That's only one of two spots that they were allowed.
Where the bait shop is, yeah.
Yeah,
So they're going to do a referendum?
there's a firm out of the west side of the state that is trying, they've got a lot of money behind them, as you can imagine, and they are trying to push communities
that have opted out,
that have opted out to get it on the ballot
right?
without any, so there's been a lot of, and again, on the township side, there's,
Yeah, well,
it was a huge issue.
They're going to Milford too, and a
They're
lot of
going- yeah,
other
they're going-
communities,
They
yeah.
want every community they can,
Yep.
because they want as many retail locations as possible
Mm-hmm.
without a lot of diligence on the costs associated, meaning extra police that's required,
Mm-hmm.
because there is a direct correlation of incidents
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to the facilities themselves. So that's interesting that they're coming to a place this small.
Yep.
But they're probably coming here because the township has been pretty firm at saying no. So this is the
So
next,
they came before you already then?
there have been different law firms,
Yeah, okay.
over the past few years.
This is the first one we've heard, so. But anyways, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that, also I wanted to mention, Bob Malik passed away, if anybody hadn't heard, so,
I didn't see that.
yep, suddenly.
Brent, you mentioned short-term rentals. What's the position?
We actually had a general ordinance put together, and we passed it. That was through our second reading, so we're having some regulation as far as short-term rentals, because there's been some issues with some,
Out there?
yeah, short-term, I mean, just probably B&Bs or whatever. Yeah, in a couple of the neighborhoods.
Oh,
So,
okay.
we had some good discussion there was five homeowners that came, that did have short-term rentals in the village. And we had some real good discussion during council, as far as, what they felt and how they ran their establishment, so, a little variation in it, but
Do they live in these buildings?
they do, some of them do, most of the time. I think there was one out of the five that didn't really own it, but or didn't really live there. It was a secondary residence for him. Isn't that right, Tab? I think that was
Are they
correct.
waterfront?
Not necessarily, yeah. No,
Just wonder what
I know
the-
there was one that was waterfront, and the one over here isn't, yeah.
It's interesting, you just wonder what the appeal is for a short-term rental not waterfront.
I was wondering too.
In this area, just, you know, it's interesting.
There's all kinds of stuff you do. There's Proud Lake right there and Kensington and, you know, it's not a too bad area, for other stuff other than the lake, but I know what you mean. It seems like you'd want to be on the lake, yeah.
And I didn't realize it, but I mean, I imagine there's people that come into town, this area for regular business that might be able to stop over for a couple nights or whatever, a month or week or whatever. But, like I said, it was, it was interesting.
Yeah.
There was some I never would have thought. I mean,
Sure.
but,
For Tiki Night that week, you could probably rent it out for
right, yeah, depending on the location.
fair sum.
Couple of bucks.
But in any case, yeah, that was passed, and it was, like I said, it was passed under general ordinance, and so, I think we're allowing, was it 8? 8, yeah.
8 within the village.
Yep, and it's mandatory that they register it, yep, yep. And there's some constraints that,
We're just finishing up the registration form and all the i's and crossing all the t's right now.
yeah,
So kind of first come, first serve.
The ones that are already established, that attended the council meeting and came forward will be sent first and allowed
Those
to
5,
register
yeah.
first, and then after that.
right.
All right. Thanks for the excellent reporting, Mr. Nedrow. That brings us to Parks and Rec, Mr. Lindman.
Parks and Rec's been very busy. We had a good close to the year with our letters to Santa and our annual Santa luncheon there that was sold out as always, and a very, very successful event. We're off to a fast start for 2024. We've already got all of the Tuesdays in the Park scheduled and all of the equipment lined up for those for the summer. We've got our Easter Bunny luncheon scheduled. It's early this year because we have an early Easter. The luncheon scheduled for March 23rd. Got the Easter Bunny lined up and everything good to go there. And look at all of our other standard events.
Procured peeps?
Yeah. So we'll be good to go for that. The 5K is going to be ready for May, and then everything else that we normally do, including the corn roast is the biggie. That takes quite a bit of planning, but we're in good shape for that. Like Brian mentioned, they upped the board from 9 to 11 seats. We had an opening, and then we had 2 very qualified candidates show up, and we didn't want to pick between the 2, so instead we increased the size of the board, and now we're going to have 10 members. We're going to forward 2 to the council to get approved.
Put any on loan for Paul and the water board?
Yeah, we didn't want to turn away help. We can, with all the events we have, it takes a lot of effort, so we're willing to take on a couple more
smart.
members, so that was
Smart move.
the way to go there. The other comment, we've been getting some communications about the surfaces of the court areas, the basketball courts and roller hockey, that you can't even play with skates anymore, and Clara Miller, both from the roller hockey players and a guy that coaches basketball there, that they're really pushing to when can we get these things resurfaced. You got cracks an inch wide in those surfaces, and I think to do it right, you need to tear the whole thing out, redo the foundation, and so it's a big deal. It would take probably putting it into the 24-25 budget as a capital expenditure to do that.
Actually, we received a letter from the guy, council did, an email, and we're going to be discussing that at our budget work session.
Okay, yeah, it needs to happen.
So just a point for you, because maybe it can be a cost save. So over at Bicentennial Park on Fisher Road, this year, actually, it's going to be going out to bid in the next month or so. They're redoing the basketball and tennis courts there, so a complete resurfacing. So whatever the company is that's doing it, at least I can get you, or Emily can get you who it is, because maybe if they've got all their equipment doing it,
Right.
Yeah,
maybe there could be a save for just going across the street to Clara Miller.
yeah, we
Excellent
definitely
suggestion.
be
Thank you, George.
interested in getting that, for sure.
Okey-doke, fine reporting there, Mr. Lindman. That brings us to Water Board.
Oh, were you done?
Yeah.
Sorry. ZBA, Mr. Thorne is absent, so that brings us to Water Board Management, or Water Board with Mr. Paul Snyder.
Yes. Well, as reported in the October meeting, we suspended our meetings for November, December, and January, and we haven't changed our mind, so.
Okay.
You thought you were going to have ice, but you're not froze yet.
I know, right? You had it for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, sir. It brings us to item 13, any announcements? Okay, I guess we're clear on that. I would love to hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
I support.
Motion by Lindman, second by Snyder. Yep. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all for volunteering your time. Appreciate your input, as always.
Thank you.